Hi and welcome to the Russia's Film Review Show. I'm Zsubori and I'll be looking at the film scene in Fife and Tayside. In this program, I'll be reviewing two films, one inspired by Robinson Crusoe and the other one by the international banking crisis. Robinson Crusoe is the world-famous adventure story written by Daniel Defoe and inspired by Fife-born adventurer Alexander Selkirk. We talked to Farooqi Muskwati on what inspired him to use it as a catalyst for his film, East Fife Crusoe.
As a child, when I watched it before, it was like an adventure story which of a man who was cast away and had to survive with nothing at all. But as an adult, when I read the book and started going across this, it was about he was a slave owner, and then going through the way he treated man, the character called Man Friday, it just was like horrendous to me, shocking. So yes, it influenced me to go and find out about the real person, since he stays not far from here. The person whom the story is derived out from was Alexander Selkirk. From everything it was a challenging opportunity as well. From the beginning, from writing it, because I had no idea how to write, and Graeme advised me to get some books. From through the books, I started learning as I wrote it at the same time. So it was a challenge to research the film and research how to write a screenplay and put it all together. And at the same time, there was a challenge of time. There was a limited time to have to finish and having to go through all that. Yes, there are many favorite, quite a few of them, but the main one is the beginning of it, when coming out of the sea. And it was quite challenging as well, because the water at that time was really freezing, and that's the moment that I really got into the character as well. And yes, the coming out of the water was was my favorite one.
Many occupations have filled the role of villain, from highwaymen to pirates to old dodgy car salesmen, but perhaps not bankers. We talked to Director Graeme Campbell on how he saw the real link between the bankers of today and the outlaws of the old Wild West in his new film, The Legend of Black Diamond.
I think it's because at the moment they seem to be so powerful, whether it's the City of London, or whether it's the people that are in charge of the Eurozone, or whether it's the people who are in charge of Wall Street. At the moment, certainly in Western history, they seem to have more power than even the politicians do. And I think many ordinary people have no idea, they are clueless as to how governments say, we must cut that, or we must cut this, or we can't afford to fund this. Yet suddenly, overnight, billions and trillions of pounds just seem to be transferred, and then they just disappear. So I wanted to explore the mystery of that, almost in a kind of fantastical fairy tale kind of way. So in terms of the film, we have the young woman Black Diamond, who's running a coal mine. She's employing lots of people, but her deceased father had acquired the finance to do this from the bankers, and the whole thing is lost. The bankers want the money back. They want their money back with interest, and she feels powerless in the same way that probably very many ordinary people today feel powerless when faced with the banking crisis. But what makes Black Diamond stand out, which again is probably an emotion rather than a reality that many people feel, she actually stands up to the bankers and is actually destroyed. They try and destroy her, they execute her people, they dynamite her mine, and she's left for dead. And then she goes on this quest to really find out who the bankers are. And again, I think that mirrors the emotion of what many ordinary people feel. Who are the bankers? Who are these mysterious people who can just transfer trillions and billions of pounds all over the world? So as the film progresses, she enters this world and begins to discover exactly who the bankers are.
And finally, I'm joined by Stuntman, who appeared in the Stanley Kubrick movie Clockwork Orange.
Well, the clip that you're going to show, there's various stunts, but I'm involved in 4 of them. The first one that you see me doing, I get thrown over, I do a flip, and then there's a lot of kind of hustle and bustle going on, and then the next one you see me getting thrown off the stage and landing on a table on my back. Then again there's a bit of hustle and bustle, and again I am thrown over, and then the last shot of the fight you see me getting thrown through a window and just hanging there. And every one of them was excellent to do, everyone. The piece I was involved in was, to me, a very, very important part of the film because it showed how ruthless the Droogs, Malcolm McDowell and his cronies were. They were ready to beat up everybody and, you know, rape everybody, which went on through the film. But the pieces I was involved in was excellent. I mean, it was well thought out. Stanley Kubrick storyboarded everything, and everything had to be done precisely to the storyboard. And that was how the man, not just in this picture, other pictures that I've heard people talking about with Stanley Kubrick, he worked the same magic with the same people over and over again.
All of these films will be appearing on Channel 5 TV, where you can also see an extended interview with Bob McCrystal. I've been Zsubori, Viszlát!